So we're going to be talking about the last part of the funnel, the sales funnel. So now we've already given them proposals. We've already fact-finded. We've already done all the work needed. They've got the estimates. Now what, right? So the biggest thing that you need to either do or find somebody to help do is to follow up, no matter what it is they need to either be touched a couple times before they can make that decision. So be persistent, because this is where people want the service, but they just might have questions. A big thing for us is sometimes you will have, the wrong letter on their email address. So they never got the estimate, but they haven't known that you've sent them the email with the estimate already. So it's just an easy thing to make sure that A, they got the estimate, B, if there's any questions, right, that you can help them with, whether that being service related, whatever the service is, or payment wise. So just having that in the back of your mind that they are going to have questions. They haven't signed up yet because there's a question, right? So they didn't get it or they have a question. So the facts show that 80% of the sales are actually made between the 5th and the 12th contact. So it's not going to take one, it's not going to take two, it's not going to take four. Typically 80% of those are after the 5th time just touching them. That could be, calling, emailing, just reaching out with newsletters. So where they're not going to make that decision until that far down the line. So once you kind of implement that and create the process in the organization to expand, that's how you truly get momentum. Because how many people right now have, thousands or hundreds of thousands in estimates on your job or QuickBooks, right? That's just money just sitting there waiting. And I'm the same way, but you have to have a process to follow up with them. You have to know how to get back in touch with them. So the goals of following up, no matter what, you're condensing time, right? So you're shrinking that whole schedule because you want somebody to get the estimate and you want them to sign up right away. So whatever you can do to condense that time is key. That's why sometimes we'll just say, we're sending you the estimate. If you don't see it within 5 to 10 minutes, let us know. It might go to your spam, but it's going to be in your email box here shortly. And then we can follow up, or if you have any questions, let us know right away. But you want to also be first. The first person to follow up typically will get the business, because a lot of people, and this is even for me too, a lot of people will want to do business with you, but if they forgot to call you back, or if they forgot to even follow up with you, then you're just missing out. So with me, an example, I tried to get contractors on a house to do carpet. I had 5 people that I reached out to, because the first one never got back to me. The second one never got back to me. The third one never got back. I just thought they didn't want the work. So I was willing to spend money with somebody, but nobody followed up with my questions or my emails back of, okay, when can we start? So it doesn't have to be to even see if there's questions with the estimate, but you have to just have that consistent communication with people. Another goal of following up, just being the last. So if you're the last person that they're talking to on your following up processes, that means they're signing up with you. So you want to be first, you want to be last. It's kind of contradicting, but you want to be the first contact, and then you're going to be the last one as well. And then never just rely on one form of communication. I mean, there's so many different creative opportunities to reach those people. We all know about email, right? You can send an email right away. Just want to make sure you got the estimate. If there's any questions, let me know. Number 2, phone call. It can be a voicemail, whatever it is. Just want to make sure that you got that email. If everything makes sense, let us know. Text is an easy way. Everybody's texting now. So with text, video text, if you're comfortable giving out your cell phone number to people, or just get a separate office phone that you can send it to and send out stuff to. So a good thing that has made tremendous impact when I was following up a lot with people is lock yourself in the room, get the whole list of people that send estimates to that week, that day, that month, and send 10-second video text to people. So text them, start a video, say, hey, this is James with Elkhorn Lawn Care. Just want to make sure that you got the estimate. If there's any questions, let us know, because we're going to start, step 1 fertilizing this week. Feel free to give us a call at the office. The number is right below, and then send. So it's 10-second video. Put the name of the company, put the cell phone number, and then shoot it off to people. And most people have never even seen that before or gotten that type of follow-up. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, I need to do that. I didn't get the estimate, or I need more information. But you can text all that through them and create those leads. And it takes 5 seconds, and say their name. because if you're just doing a generic one, it kind of just bounces off like, okay, if this is auto generated, whatever. So make it personable, especially if you're the one that's been talking to people, or you're the one that met them for that meeting. That's something that is probably the best way to convert those leads. Video, text. You can also do letters, like handwritten letters. You can do personal visits if it's a commercial property. Like the more times you go in, if you have to wait, then it's still going to work because you're going to be persistent, right? Social media, you can shout out to those businesses, those people, and say, hey, this is what we just did. Just want to follow up with your project. This was a job we just did down the road. So tag them in it, send it to them, or put it in a personal message, a DM. And then newsletters too. I mean, those are still ways of following up, even if they haven't said anything. If you're starting fertilizing next week, send them another newsletter. Hey, this is starting. Make sure you don't miss out on this application. Make sure you don't miss out on blowing out your sprinklers. So those are all still ways of following up, even if they didn't sign up from an estimate in January of 2021. So they're still constantly being touched and reminded by those newsletters. So what works best in all of your guys' businesses and my business, it's different, right? Depending on the service, what's most impactful for all of you, what creates the best closing ratio. So you want to make sure you track them. If you're calling, if you're sending emails, if you're just clicking the remind button on QuickBooks, make sure to kind of track those and see which ones works the best. From those closing ratios, then you can move that one to the top of the list. Okay, we know this works best. We're going to start with this. That doesn't work. We're going to start with this. Or it's going to be 3 phone calls, 3 days in a row, and then we're going to send an email, and then we're going to send a text. But you have to start getting that rhythm of following up on those people, because all of that money in your estimate folder is where you could be in business right now. So I look at that as like, this is income already with sales already accepted. This is what should be accepted. So those should be combined. How do we get those to be combined? So how often you follow up? I mean, this is something that should be every moment possible. Like if you haven't heard back for a commercial contract, call them again, drop in and talk to the manager. Whatever has to be done to convert that lead, that estimate over into a long-term customer. So just understanding that putting that process in place is going to make you so much more ahead than all your competition in your market. I mean, that's what sets you up to be the best in your industry, be the best follow-up person. And because nobody's doing it right now. This is something that's so underutilized in every company. 100%. Like go out on somebody else's website and just put your contact info in, ask for an estimate, and see if you ever get a response back after that first estimate. Usually it's, they got an estimate, we don't need to worry about them, and they probably don't want our service because they never heard back. So it's crazy how many people don't utilize this, and it's the number one thing that converts leads, right? So tips for following up as well. I mean, like I said a couple of times before, but just call to make sure that they did receive the quote. Email them, text them, just to make sure they did receive it, because 5 out of 10 times it might have gone to spam. You might have typed in a wrong digit or wrong letter on the email address, and they just never got it. And they were just waiting for you to send it. So they think that you're still waiting to give them a proposal, but it's been sent 3 weeks ago. So that's probably the easiest thing and most overlooked thing, that's an easy way intro into that phone call. Just want to make sure that you received it. Okay. Then you move into what the product or service they needed. Is that the best fit for them? Did they really want the fertilizing program, or are they looking for just filling in all the spots that were dead and they actually need aerating and overseeding? So you have to ask them, like, what are you truly trying to do? And that's in the fact finding portion of the funnel as well. But if they're not on the right product, they're not going to sign up. So what's the right product for them, right? Or if they want full service, that might be a different thing. They don't want just fertilizing. They don't want just mowing. They want full property management. And maybe that's how you get in the door for that, instead of them going to a bigger or different type of company that offers that. And then just identify what their holdup is. Is it the price? Okay, how do we solve this? We've talked about this before too. Can we break up the payments? Can we split up in 2 months or 12 months? Because they see that price, they may think that that's the only option. Is it time frame? Yes, we want to make a decision, but we're waiting for this to happen, or the house needs to get remodeled first. Okay, well, let me just put in the notes, we'll sign you up in July instead. So we can start this later. So it could be a time issue. And are they even the decision maker? Like a lot of these commercial properties where we're sending those estimates to aren't even going to the owner, right? They're going to a account manager, an office manager, a secretary, whatever it is. So if you need to bypass that person, how do you find whoever the decision maker is, whether it be the owner or the purchaser, to follow up with that person instead? And that could be where the personal handwritten letters or the personal, walk in, whatever it may be, we need to find that decision maker. So just realizing that the more information you can provide to the customers is going to help solve their needs no matter what. Some follow-ups are going to work differently for some people than others. I mean, I can't text a 97-year-old person for fertilizing if they want to sign up this year and they don't have an email. So we need to constantly be sending them reminder letters. So just know that your customer is different no matter what it is. So set aside the time to maximize whatever following up procedures you have in place for those estimates for those customers. And when you understand that, closing the deal is a numbers game. I said 8 to 12, right? So if you know it's a numbers game, then you don't get upset if they said no the first time or the second time. Like that shouldn't even matter. You have to just keep pushing, more newsletters, more mailers, whatever it is, until they sign up. So once you understand that, okay, I need to get to at least 8 times before I close this account out, then it doesn't matter. You don't get heartbroken. You don't get bent out of shape. Then it's like, okay, I just need to touch them 5 more times, then they'll sign up, right? So the follow-up is the profits. And that's how we grow our businesses. So by staying consistent, get creative, that'll help you close more deals and become the industry leader in your market.